Alrighty. So this week, your last week before your last high school spring break. Yeah. So this week we have planned circles, introduction to circles and graphing circles today. Then on Wednesday, doing some other things with writing equations of circles and writing tangent lines to circles, that kind of a thing. So we've got those two things on Wednesday. Thursday is going to be your first Unit 8 quiz. Okay? And so it will cover circles this week and parabolas last week. Okay? It will be summative this week. We're going to be alternating for the rest of the semester now, formative and summative. Okay? So last week was formative, this week is summative. Then we've got spring break the weekend, or the week after that is going to be formative again. And then summative, formative, summative, formative test. Okay? Alright? So that's where we got. You should also have out your supplemental note sheet because we will be filling in the small area this time. So remember that on your supplemental note sheet, you should have it, you got the sheet and then you divided it in half down the middle and then you divide it here. And this part is all parabolas. Okay, so that was all last week's stuff. And then on this other column, you divided it into 1/3. And this, we're going to be in here in that small section, because there's really not a lot with a circle. It's the easiest of the 4 conic sections. Okay? So there's not a lot there. That's why we have the small section for this week. Okay? So here we go. Talk to me. You've seen them before. You've dealt with them before. I can see 7 or 8 of them in the room right now. What is a circle? Or what shape does a circle? And don't say a circle is a circle. What shape is a circle? Round. What letter does it look like? O. Okay, all right. Oh, there you go. That's good. But the circle is the set of all points equidistant from one point. Okay? It's the set of all points equidistant from one point. That one point, this one right here, has a name. We call it the center of our circle. Okay? This equidistant distance, that's a distance, so it's always going to be positive. We call that distance the radius of our circle. Okay? So it's the set of all points that are one radius away from one point. Okay? It looks round. It looks like the letter O. Okay? Examples that I see in the room, I see lots of water bottles. I see lots of plastic bottles. The fan is a circle. This tape is a circle right there. Lots of circle wheels on the cart. Circle around the door frame, or the door handle, I should say. Lots of circles. one of the most common shapes in all of the worlds. Okay? So the equation of a circle that has center h, comma, k and radius r can be given by the equation x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared. Once again, I remind you that h and k are both located inside parentheses. So how do we think about h and k when we're looking at the formula? Oppositely? Yep. Okay. So remember that we think opposite. When we were dealing with parabolas, we had, I believe it was 5 steps to graphing a parabola, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right on the supplemental sheet? We had 5 steps to graphing a parabola. For graphing a circle, there's really only 2 steps. So, and they're relatively easy enough where I don't even think we have to write them down. But if you want to, I will write them down for you. So on your graph paper now, let's go with this problem right here. X plus 3 quantity squared plus y minus 1 quantity squared equals 4. Okay. If you are a step type person and want to write down the steps, the first step would be find the center and plot it. Okay. Where would the center be in this particular circle? -3, comma, 1. -3, comma, 1. We think oppositely here. For my x part, that's going to be -3. We think oppositely there, so we get 1 there. Where do I plot the point -3, 1? 2 directions, 2 numbers from the origin. 3 to the left and 1 up. I would concur with that. So I would go 3 to the left, 1, 2, and 3, 1 up, and I would put a C there. I would put a C at that point. Because technically, that point is part of the circle. However, it is not on the circle. I don't put necessarily a point there. But I would not take off for it if you did put an actual dot. Okay. Step number 2 then says you are going to find the radius and draw your circle. What is if 4 is r squared, because remember my formula said that it was x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared. So if 4 is my r squared, what is my radius? What is r? Ryan, what you got? 2. Yep. So I take the square root of that number to get r. So my radius would be 2. So now what I need to do is from my center, I need to go 2 to the right, 1 and 2, 2 up, 1 and 2, 2 to the left, 1 and 2, and 2 down, 1 and 2. I can for sure get those 4 points on my circle because my radius is 2. Okay? Then here is the tricky part. The math part of a circle is relatively simple. I don't want to say it's super easy, but it's relatively simple. I mean, we really didn't do much thinking to get close, to get to this point. Okay, let's be honest. Okay, the hard part of circles is now you got to draw one. Okay, and if you have a compass, or I've got this funky, I think I still have it. I got this funky circle maker that I got at the conference once. Okay, draws all different kinds of circles. You put one, it's a 2 pencil type thing. You put one pencil here in the center, and then you put another in the other one, and then you can draw your picture. It's a compass without being a compass. Okay, but freehand, you kind of gotta, I don't like to draw it like all in one. I kind of like to draw it piecemeal. What I don't want is this. For sure, this is not a circle. Okay, that's a diamond. Don't do that. Just kind of draw it in. If it gets a little wonky, because some of them are going to get bigger. I mean, we'll have bigger radii. Okay, do the best you can. I am not grading you on your circle drawing abilities. Okay? Okay? Any questions on circles? Because that's it. That's all we got for circles. Let's try another one. Let's try this one. You try this one. Let's see what you guys can do with that one. What did we come up with for a center? 1, 0. That would be 1 to the right of the origin, which would put my center right there. What did we come up with for a radius? 3, which means that I can go 1, 2, 3 to the left, 2, 3 up, 3 down, 3 to the right. It's not the prettiest. Okay, good. Well, try this. Where's the center? -3, -4. Fans old years. -3, -4. That's 3 to the left and down 4. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Radius. What is the radius? 4? No, it is not 4. Exact. We always give radius as an exact one. 6 point something. do it. Because that's not going to give you the exact answer. Yeah. What's the exact answer for the radius? Oh. The 6 squared isn't 42. Right? So what's the exact answer for the radius? Go back 2 slides. How did we figure out that 2 was the radius here? Do what? By the square root, right? Okay. How did we figure out that 3 was the radius here? Square root. How am I going to figure out the radius here? Square root of 42. Can the square root of 42 be simplified? It can. There's a perfect square factor of 42. Right? Well, let's go through the perfect square. 1 goes in there, but that doesn't help us. Okay? 4. Does 4 go into 42? No. What's the next one? 9. 9 doesn't. Next one is 16. Doesn't. 25. No. 36. No. 49. And now we're bigger than 42, so for sure it's not going in. So that's going to stay the square root of 42. Now, how am I going to graph the square root of 42? Between 6 and 7. Closer to 6 or closer to 7? Or right smack dab in the middle? Closer to 6? So it's, because we're looking at, so we're looking at where 42 falls between 36 and 49, right? And so 42 is here, gives me a gap here of how much? 6, right? Gives me a gap here of 7, right? So I put it pretty close to 6.5. Agree? Now, Avery, you actually did do the calculation, and I shut you down on it before. What was the actual calculation when you calculated on your calculator? 6.40? Yeah? Yeah? Right? So that means that I've got to go left 6.40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.40. Means I've got to go up 6.40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.40. Means I've got to go right 6.40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.40. Means I've got to go down 6.40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.40. And now, I can draw. When we ask for the radius, we want it in exact radical form, unless it's the r squared is perfect square, like in the previous two things. So the exact there. But when you go to the graph, then you have to convert it into decimal form to figure it out. Huh? What's different about this one? What? No? before we start, we've got to divide them all by 7 because the equation that was given to us had a coefficient on our x and y of 1. So before we even start this problem, we have to first divide all of the terms by 7. That's going to give us x squared plus y squared equals 16. Okay, because you should have gotten 16. Okay. Now, based off of my new equation, where is my center? At the origin. No. What is my radius? 4, right? Up, down, left, and right, 4. Oh, that one's bad. Yeah, buddy? That concludes today's. In terms of your homework, you can for sure, I mean, you probably get done for sure the front side. Get today in class, and then save the back side for Wednesday.